INEOS are winning at Manchester United. Two big reasons why and one lingering regret. Welcome back to Unite United News, where real fans get real answers. Hello and welcome to Unite United News, your #1 destination for everything Manchester United. We are glad you are here. While other websites give you the same recycled stories and clickbait headlines, we dig deeper. We ask the questions that matter. We give you the answers that help you understand what is really happening at your football club. Whether you are celebrating a victory or dealing with a tough defeat, we are here to break it down for you in clear, simple language that makes sense. So settle in, because today we are talking about something that affects the future of Manchester United in a big way. The big question everyone should be asking. Here is something to think about. When Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his INEOS group took control of football operations at Manchester United, many fans were skeptical. Can you blame them? United had been through so many false starts, so many promises that never materialized, so many transfer windows that ended in disappointment. The club had become a place where good players came to underperform and big money signings turned into expensive mistakes. But something is changing at Old Trafford. Something is different this time. And the 4-2 victory over Brighton was not just another win. It was proof that the work INEOS has been doing behind the scenes is starting to pay off. It was evidence that their approach to running a football club might actually be working. The question is not whether United won against Brighton. We know they did. The question is, what does this win tell us about the direction of the club? What does it reveal about the decisions being made at the highest levels? And most importantly, is Manchester United finally on the right track after years of wandering in the wilderness? Why this win was perfectly timed. Let us start with the timing of this victory. Manchester United beat Brighton 4-2 at Old Trafford on a weekend that could not have been scripted better if someone had tried. While United were celebrating 3 points at home, their biggest rivals were suffering defeats. Liverpool lost. Manchester City lost. And there was Manchester United, picking up a comfortable victory and moving up the table. Do you know how rare that is? How often do all the pieces fall into place like that? Not very often. And that is why this weekend felt so special for United fans. The win ended Brighton's winning streak at Old Trafford. Brighton had become one of those teams that United fans did not enjoy playing against. They are well organized, they play good football, and they always seem to cause problems. But United handled them. United dominated them. United showed that when they play to their potential, they can beat anyone. This was also United's 3rd win in a row. 3 consecutive victories. That might not sound like breaking news if you support Manchester City or Liverpool, teams that are used to going on long winning runs. But for Manchester United, this has been a rare achievement in recent times. The team has struggled to put together any kind of consistency. They would win one week and lose the next. They would look brilliant one day and terrible the next day. So 3 wins in a row is significant. It shows improvement. It shows progress. It shows that the team is learning how to win, learning how to build momentum, learning how to do what champions do. And sitting in the stands watching all of this unfold was Sir Jim Ratcliffe himself. The man who invested his money, his time, and his reputation into turning Manchester United around. He was there to see his investment start to bear fruit. He was there to see his decisions being validated on the pitch. Understanding the INEOS impact at Manchester United. Before we go any further, let us make sure everyone understands who INEOS are and what they do at Manchester United. Sir Jim Ratcliffe is one of the richest men in Britain. He made his fortune in the chemicals industry through his company INEOS. But he is also a lifelong Manchester United fan. And when the opportunity came to get involved with his boyhood club, he jumped at it. In late 2024, INEOS purchased a significant stake in Manchester United. More importantly, they took control of football operations. What does that mean? It means they now make the decisions about which players to buy and sell. They decide which manager to hire. They oversee the day-to-day running of the football side of the business. This was supposed to be the fresh start United needed. No more reactive decisions. No more panic buying in the transfer market. No more hiring managers who do not fit the club. Instead, there would be a clear plan. There would be smart recruitment. There would be patience and long-term thinking. But talk is cheap, right? Everyone can say they have a plan. Everyone can promise to do things differently. What matters is results. What matters is whether the decisions you make actually work out on the football pitch. And that brings us to the two big reasons why INEOS are the winners from United's victory over Brighton. Reason number 1. The summer signings are actually working. Let us be honest about something. Manchester United's transfer record over the past decade has been absolutely terrible. The club spent hundreds of millions of pounds on players who either did not fit the team, did not perform to their ability, or simply were not good enough for this level. Think about some of the expensive mistakes. Players signed for huge fees who never justified their price tags. Talented players who came to United and somehow got worse instead of better. Big-name signings who looked lost from day one. It was painful to watch. It was embarrassing. And it was expensive. This poor transfer record was not just about wasting money. It had a deeper impact on the club. It destroyed confidence, created instability. It meant that every summer, United were starting from scratch, trying to fix the mistakes of the previous summer. There was no continuity. There was no building towards something. Just constant firefighting and damage control. But since INEOS took charge of football operations, there has been a noticeable improvement. The transfer hit rate is getting better. The signings are making sense. The players coming in actually fit the style of play the manager wants. That might sound basic, but for Manchester United, it has been revolutionary. This past summer was a big test for INEOS. Everyone knew United needed to improve their attack. Last season, the team scored only 44 Premier League goals. That is shockingly bad for a club of Manchester United's size and ambition. You cannot challenge for trophies when you are not scoring goals. You cannot compete with the best teams when your attack is blunt and predictable. So INEOS identified attacking reinforcement as the top priority. They needed players who could score goals and create chances. They needed forwards who could make things happen in the final third. They needed to transform United from a team that struggled to score into a team that opposition defenses feared. And they delivered. They brought in Matheus Cunha from Wolverhampton Wanderers. They signed Bryan Mbeumo from Brentford. They also added Benjamin Sesko to the mix. 3 attacking players, all with proven Premier League experience, all capable of making an immediate impact. Now here is the important part. These signings are actually working. Against Brighton, both Cunha and Mbeumo scored. Sesko provided an assist. All 3 summer signings contributed to the victory. All 3 showed exactly why INEOS wanted them at the club. The numbers tell an encouraging story. Through 8 Premier League games this season, United have already scored 15 goals. If they maintain this pace throughout the campaign, they will finish with over 60 goals, possibly closer to 70. That is a massive improvement from last season's embarrassing total of 44. Think about what that means. United now look like a team that can hurt you. They have goals coming from multiple positions. They have different types of threats. They have players who opposition managers need to worry about. This is what good recruitment looks like. This is what happens when you have a clear plan and execute it well. INEOS deserve enormous credit for this. They identified the problem. They found solutions in the transfer market. They brought in the right type of players. And those players are now delivering on the pitch. Sounds simple, but it is something Manchester United have struggled to do for years. The approach has been sensible too. INEOS have not just focused on bringing players in. They have also been smart about moving players out. They have cleared the wage bill of players who were not contributing. They have made space in the squad for the new arrivals. They have created a leaner, more focused group of players. This is proper football management. This is how well-run clubs operate. And after years of chaos and confusion, it is refreshing to see Manchester United finally getting the basics right. Why these particular signings made sense. Let us talk a bit more about why Cunha, Mbeumo, and Sesko were such smart signings. What makes these 3 players different from some of the expensive mistakes United have made in the past? First, all 3 were already proven in the Premier League. Cunha had done well at Wolves. Mbeumo had been excellent at Brentford. Sesko had shown his quality before as well. They were not unknown quantities. They were not young prospects taking a huge step up. They were established players who knew what it takes to succeed in English football. This matters more than people realize. The Premier League is unique. The pace is different. The physicality is different. The intensity is different. Many talented players from other leagues have come to England and struggled to adapt. They find the game too fast. They find the physical demands too much. They cannot handle playing twice a week, every week, for months on end. But Cunha, Bumo, and Sesko did not need to adapt. They already knew the league. They already understood what was required. They could hit the ground running from day one. And that is exactly what they have done. Second, all three players fit the style of football Ruben Amorim wants to play. They are mobile. They can play in multiple positions. They work hard without the ball. They have the technical quality to create chances in tight spaces. And they have the mentality to perform under pressure. This is crucial. You cannot just sign good players and hope they fit together. You need to sign players who complement each other. You need to build a team where everyone understands their role and how they contribute to the collective. INEOS clearly worked closely with Amorim to identify the right targets. They asked him what type of players he needed. They found players who matched that profile. And now we are seeing the results on the pitch. Third, these signings were sensibly priced. United did not break the bank for any of these players. They did not get into bidding wars that drove the prices up to crazy levels. They negotiated well. They found value in the market. They spent their money wisely. After years of overpaying for players, this is another sign that things are changing at United. The club is no longer the soft touch that other teams love to negotiate with. They are no longer paying a premium just because they are Manchester United. They are doing smart business. Reason number 2, Ruben Amorim is making a breakthrough. The second big reason INEOS are winners from this Brighton victory is that it shows Ruben Amorim is finally making progress. And since INEOS hired Amorim, his success reflects well on them. His breakthrough is their breakthrough. Let us rewind a bit and remember the situation Amorim walked into. He arrived at Manchester United with a big reputation from his success at Sporting CP in Portugal. He had won league titles. He had developed young players. He had created an exciting team that played attractive football. Everyone was excited about what he could do at United. But the start was difficult. Really difficult. Pre-season showed some positive signs, but once the competitive games began, United were back to their old ways. Inconsistent performances. Dropped points against teams they should beat. Disappointing results that left fans frustrated and worried. The most alarming statistic was that Amorim could not win back-to-back games. Think about that. He could not even put together 2 wins in a row. That is a red flag. That is a sign that something is seriously wrong. Because champions do not just win one game here and there. They build momentum. They go on winning runs. They develop a habit of finding ways to win even when they are not playing well. Amorim's failure to achieve this was unsustainable. Fans were starting to question whether he was the right man for the job. The media were writing negative stories about his methods. There was growing pressure on both the manager and on INEOS for hiring him. If Amorim had continued to fail, it would have reflected very badly on INEOS. It would have been seen as another mistake. Another wrong decision. Another example of United hiring the wrong manager. The critics would have had a field day. But now the tide is turning. Amorim has put together 3 wins in a row. It might not sound like much, but for Manchester United in their current situation, it is huge. It shows the players are responding to his methods. It shows his tactics are working. It shows he is learning how to get results in the Premier League. The Brighton victory was particularly impressive because of how United won. They did not just scrape past a weaker team. They scored for goals. They played attacking football. They entertained the fans. They showed the kind of quality that gets people excited about watching Manchester United. Amorim is also developing a fortress at Old Trafford. For home wins in a row now, that is massive for creating a positive atmosphere around the club. Home form is so important in football. When you make your stadium a difficult place for opposition teams to visit, When you give your fans something to cheer about every week, it changes everything. The mood around the club has lifted. There is a more harmonious feeling now. Players look happier. Fans are more positive. The media coverage is less negative. All because the team is winning games and showing signs of progress. Sir Jim Ratcliffe has publicly backed Amorim. He has made it clear that he believes in the manager and wants to give him time to build something special. And right now, there are bright signs that Amorim will not just survive the season, but will be at the club for many years to come, building a team that can challenge for the biggest trophies. This is exactly what INEOS needed. They needed their managerial appointment to work out. They needed Amorim to prove that he can succeed at this level. They needed vindication for their decision to hire him. And slowly but surely they are getting it. The bigger picture. A club transformation. What we are seeing at Manchester United goes beyond just one match or one winning streak. We are seeing the beginning of a proper transformation. We are seeing a club that is finally getting its house in order after years of chaos. INEOS are bringing structure to Manchester United. They are bringing clear thinking. They are bringing expertise from the world of high-performance sport. And they are bringing the kind of long-term planning that has been missing for far too long. Think about what has changed since INEOS took over. There is a clear recruitment strategy now. There is a plan for the type of players United want to sign and the type of football they want to play. There is support for the manager instead of constant second-guessing. There is patience instead of panic. These might sound like small things, but they are actually huge. This is the foundation you need to build a successful football club. Without this structure, without this clarity, you are just guessing. You are hoping things will work out. You are crossing your fingers and wishing for the best. But with structure and planning, you give yourself a real chance. You create an environment where good players can thrive. You build something sustainable that can last for years, not just months. The Brighton victory was proof that this approach is working. The summer signings are delivering. The manager is making progress. The team is moving in the right direction. And INEOS, as the people making the big decisions, deserve credit for creating the conditions that made this possible. Of course, there is still a long way to go. 3 wins in a row do not make you champions. Scoring 15 goals in 8 games is good, but United need to maintain that throughout the season. Amorim is showing promise, but he needs to prove he can handle the pressure when things get difficult again. But for the first time in a long time, Manchester United fans have genuine reasons to be optimistic. They can see a plan. They can see progress. They can see that the people running their club actually know what they are doing. The one regret: signing Sen Lamens too late. Now we need to talk about the mistake. Because even though INEOS deserve praise for much of what they have done, they are not perfect. Nobody is. And there is one decision that looks like a real error in judgment. That decision involves goalkeeper Sen Lamens. Let us explain the situation because it tells you a lot about what can go wrong even when you eventually make the right choice. Lamens is a goalkeeper who is playing for Royal Antwerp in Belgium. He is talented. He has potential. And it looks like he could be a very good signing for Manchester United. In fact, early reports suggest that INEOS have done well to bring him to the club. But here is the problem. United were first linked with Lamens back in December 2024. That is almost a year before they actually signed him. The deal was not completed until deadline day in the summer of 2025. That meant Lamens did not make his debut for United until early October. Do you see the issue here? If United knew in December 2024 that they wanted this player, why did it take until the last possible day of the summer transfer window to get the deal done? Why the delay? Why the wait? This delay had real consequences for Manchester United. At the start of the season, Ruben Amorim was forced to persist with Andre Onana and Altay Bayender as his goalkeeping options. And with all due respect to both players, it is fair to say they did not perform to the required standard. Goalkeeping mistakes cost United points. Dropped points that could be crucial at the end of the season. United were also eliminated from the Carabao Cup earlier than they should have been. A better goalkeeper might have made the difference in those matches. Now imagine if Lamens had been signed at the start of the summer instead of the end. He could have joined the squad for pre-season. He could have trained with his new teammates for weeks before the competitive games began. He could have learned Amorim's system and requirements. He could have built relationships with the defenders in front of him. Instead, he was thrown in during September, trying to catch up while competitive matches were being played. That is not ideal for any player, but especially not for a goalkeeper who needs to organize the defense and communicate constantly with his teammates. The question INEOS need to ask themselves is this: why did this take so long? If you identify a target in December, you should be able to complete the deal well before deadline day 9 months later. What was the hold-up? Was it negotiations with the selling club? Was it issues with the player's contract? Was it something else? Whatever the reason, it was a mistake. And it is a mistake that may have cost Manchester United valuable points. When you look at the final league table at the end of the season, when you are perhaps 1 or 2 points short of Champions League qualification or a trophy, you will look back and wonder if those early season dropped points made the difference. Lamens is now at the club and seems to be doing well. The team is progressing nicely with him in goal. But how much better could the situation be if he had been signed earlier? How many extra points could United have gained? How much further could they have gone in the Carabao Cup? These are the questions that will linger. This is the regret that INEOS will have when they look back on this period. Learning from mistakes. The important thing is whether INEOS learn from this mistake. Good organizations make errors. That is inevitable. But great organizations learn from those errors and do not repeat them. The lesson here is clear. When you identify a target, move quickly to get the deal done. Do not wait until deadline day if you can avoid it. Get your business done early in the transfer window so new players have maximum time to settle in before the season starts. This is especially true for goalkeepers and defenders. These positions require understanding and communication. They require relationships between players. They require time to build chemistry. You cannot just throw a goalkeeper into your team at the last minute and expect everything to work perfectly. INEOS have shown with their other signings that they can do smart business. Cunha, Bumo, and Sesko were all brought in with enough time to prepare properly. They were integrated into the squad in a sensible way. And now they are performing well. The Lamens situation was out of character. It was unlike the otherwise impressive transfer work INEOS have done. Let us hope it was a one-off. Let us hope they have learned the lesson and will not repeat this mistake in future windows. What this all means for United's season. So where does all of this leave Manchester United? What can fans expect from the rest of the season based on what we have seen so far? The positives are obvious. The team is scoring more goals. The summer signings are delivering. Amorim is showing he can build winning runs. The home form is strong. And there is a more positive atmosphere around the club than there has been for a long time. If United can maintain this level of performance, they have a real chance of achieving something significant this season. Top 4 is definitely possible. A trophy is not out of the question. And at the very least, they should be competitive in every competition they enter. But there are still challenges ahead. The big tests are coming. United will face the top teams soon. They will have difficult away games. They will have periods when injuries hit and form dips. How they respond to these challenges will determine what kind of season this becomes. The Lamens situation is a reminder that small margins matter. A few points dropped here and there can be the difference between success and failure. United cannot afford many more mistakes. They need to be smart in January if they identify any weaknesses that need addressing. And they need to keep building the momentum they have created. INEOS have set the foundation. They have made good decisions in the transfer market. They have backed the right manager. They have created a more stable environment. Now it is up to the players and coaching staff to deliver on the pitch. The Brighton victory was an important step. But it was just one step on a long journey. There is still so much work to do. Still so many questions to answer. Still so many tests to pass. Final thoughts. Cautious optimism is justified. Here is the truth about Manchester United right now. Things are better. Not perfect, but better. And after years of decline and disappointment, better is something to celebrate. INEOS are making a positive difference at the club. Their transfer strategy is working. Their choice of manager looks increasingly smart. Their approach to running the football side of the business is more professional and more effective than what came before. The Brighton victory was not just 3 points in the table. It was validation of the work INEOS have been doing. It was proof that their methods are bearing fruit. It was evidence that Manchester United are on the right track. Yes, there are regrets. The Lamens situation shows that even good decision-makers can get things wrong. But one mistake does not undo all the good work. And if INEOS learn from this error, it will make them even better at their jobs going forward. Sir Jim Ratcliffe was right to smile in the stands during the Brighton match. He has invested heavily in Manchester United, not just financially but emotionally. He is a fan who wants to see his club succeed. And for once, he is seeing his investment start to pay off. The summer signings are scoring goals. The manager is winning matches. The team is playing with confidence. And the future looks brighter than it has for a very long time. That does not mean United will win the league this season. It does not mean they will win the Champions League or any other trophy. But it does mean they are moving in the right direction. It does mean there is hope. It does mean fans can start to believe again. And in the world of Manchester United over the past decade, that is real progress. Thank you for trusting Unite United News. Thank you for spending your time here with us at Unite United News. We know your time is valuable, and we appreciate you choosing us as your source for Manchester United news and analysis. This is what we do every single day. We look beyond the simple match reports and headlines. We dig into the details that matter. We ask the hard questions. We give you the context you need to understand what is really happening at your football club. INEOS are making important changes at Manchester United. Some of those changes are working brilliantly. Others, like the late signing of Lamens, have not been handled as well as they could have been. We will always give you the full picture, the good and the bad, because that is what honest journalism looks like. We encourage you to make Unite United News your first stop for all things Manchester United. Bookmark our site. Follow us on your preferred platforms. Share our articles with other United fans who want reliable, thoughtful analysis instead of clickbait and speculation. Most importantly, keep coming back, because we will be here every day, watching every match, analyzing every decision, and bringing you the insights that help you understand the beautiful game we all love. Manchester United's journey under INEOS is just beginning. There will be more victories to celebrate and more challenges to overcome. There will be more smart decisions and probably a few more mistakes along the way. But through it all, Unite United News will be here, keeping you informed and helping you make sense of it all. Until next time, keep believing in your club, keep supporting the team, and keep trusting Unite United News to bring you the truth about Manchester United. Because that is our promise to you. That is our commitment. That is why we are the trusted source for United fans everywhere. Glory, glory, Man United.